Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I never made a big deal out of birthdays. I wasn't one of those people who needed balloons, parties, or surprises. Still, there's something quietly painful about being forgotten, especially when it's not the first time. I'm James. I'm 38, and I've been married to Elizabeth for 11 years. Long enough to know her patterns. Long enough to stop pretending when something hurts. The morning of my birthday started like any other weekday. Alarm at 6. Shower. Coffee I made myself. Elizabeth was already dressed. Scrolling through her phone at the kitchen counter. She kissed my cheek on her way out, distracted, already late for work. No smile. No pause. No happy birthday. I stood there for a second, mug in my hand, waiting for her to turn back. She didn't. The door closed. Silence settled in. I told myself not to assume. Maybe she had something planned. Maybe she wanted to say it later. That's what I told myself last year, too, and the year before that. If this story feels familiar, tap the like button so it can reach others who might be living the same quiet moments. I went through my day on autopilot. Job site noise, small talk with coworkers, emails I barely read. Around noon, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my sister. Happy birthday, old man. That was it. No message from my wife. By the time I drove home that evening, I already knew. The house smelled like reheated leftovers. Elizabeth was on the couch, shoes off, laptop open, half watching a show. She glanced up when I walked in. Hey, she said, like it was any other Tuesday. I waited again, counted to 10 in my head. Nothing. I asked how her day was. She launched into a story about a meeting that ran long, about a co-worker who annoyed her. I nodded, listened like I always did. At some point, she stopped talking and noticed my face. What? She asked. It's my birthday, I said. I kept my voice even. She blinked. Once. Twice. Oh my God, she said finally. I'm so sorry. It completely slipped my mind. No panic. No guilt. Just an apology that sounded practiced. She laughed a little, like it was an awkward mistake. We can do something this weekend. I didn't answer right away. Last year, she said the same thing. The weekend never came. Neither did the year before. Tell me in the comments, do apologies still matter when the behavior never changes? She went back to her laptop, already moving on. That was the moment I realized this wasn't forgetfulness. It was absence. Later that night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling. I thought about all the little things I remembered for her. Her favorite takeout order. The way she liked her coffee. The exact day her mother passed. I never forgot. Not because I was perfect, but because she mattered to me. Somewhere along the way, I stopped mattering to her. If you've ever felt invisible in your own relationship, type "seen" in the comments. I rolled onto my side and listened to her breathing. Steady, unbothered. The next morning, I didn't mention it. I got ready, went to work, came home. Same routine. That evening, Elizabeth told me she'd be working late again the following night. Client dinner. Mandatory. She said it without looking at me. Something inside me shifted, not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet decision forming. I nodded and said, okay. On my actual birthday night, I went out alone. Dinner at a place we used to love. I ordered her favorite dish out of habit, then pushed it away untouched. I paid the bill, walked outside, and sat in my car for a long time. I didn't feel angry. I felt clear. If this story reminds you of someone who might need to hear it, consider sharing it thoughtfully. Sometimes stories say what we can't. When I finally drove home, the house was dark. Elizabeth wasn't back yet. I stood in the doorway and realized I didn't want to sleep there. Not that night. Maybe not anymore. I grabbed a jacket, my phone charger, and my wallet. I left my wedding ring on the counter, right where she'd see it. I didn't leave a note. There was nothing left to explain. As I pulled away, I felt lighter and sadder at the same time. Before you continue, drop a comment. Do you think forgetting a birthday is small or is a sign of something bigger? I didn't go far that night. I drove until the city thinned out, until the streetlights were farther apart and the noise faded. I ended up at a small motel near the highway, the kind with flickering signs and clean rooms that smelled faintly of detergent. I checked in under my own name. No drama, no lies, just facts. Inside the room, I sat on the edge of the bed and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Stillness. Elizabeth called once around midnight. I watched the phone vibrate on the nightstand until it stopped. No voicemail. No follow-up text. I wasn't punishing her. I was protecting myself. That distinction mattered more than anything. I slept deeper than I expected. In the morning, there was a message waiting. Where did you go? Nothing else. No apology. No concern. Just confusion, like I'd misplaced an object. I replied with one sentence. I needed space. That was true, and it was enough. I went to work like normal. No one noticed anything different, and that almost made me laugh. We carry entire marriages inside us, and the world keeps moving. Around noon, Elizabeth texted again, this time longer. She said she was worried. She said she didn't understand why I'd disappear over something small. That word sat heavy in my chest. Small, like I was small. When I got home that evening, she was waiting, sitting upright on the couch, hands folded, face tight. She looked relieved when she saw me, then irritated. You scared me, she said. I nodded. You forgot my birthday. I replied. Her eyes rolled just slightly. That told me everything I needed to know. We talked for an hour. Or rather, she talked. About stress. About work. About how I was overreacting. I listened calmly. When she finally paused, I said, this isn't about one day. It's about years of being an afterthought. She opened her mouth to argue, then closed it again. Silence filled the room. That's when I told her I'd booked a short-term rental, that I needed time to think. She asked if there was someone else. I said no. She asked if I was serious. I said yes. My voice didn't shake. Hers did. For the first time in a long while, the imbalance was visible. I left that night for good, not because I hated her, but because I respected myself. Over the next weeks, the pattern became clear. When I stopped giving, she panicked. When I stayed calm, she grew angry. When I didn't rush back, she accused me of being cold. I wasn't cold. I was done begging. Eventually, we sat across from each other in a lawyer's office. No shouting, no accusations, just paperwork and finality. 11 years reduced to signatures. I felt grief, yes, but also relief. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was accountable only to myself. Months later, my birthday came again. I spent it with friends who remembered, with laughter that wasn't forced, with peace that didn't require permission. I didn't hear from Elizabeth that day, and for the first time, it didn't matter. If this ending resonated with you, comment below with the word enough. Sometimes naming the moment is the first step. What do you think hurts more, being forgotten once or realizing you were forgotten for years? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's talk. If this story spoke to you, like it, comment your perspective, and subscribe for more stories about boundaries, self-respect, and quiet turning points. I didn't forget to come home that night. I chose not to, and that choice changed everything.